Hello, I'm Berni Xiong, Life Spark with Berni Xiong LLC at bernixiong.com. Today is Tuesday, August 16th, 2011, and this is episode 33 of Get a Life Spark. All right, folks, if you're not already a Facebook friend, go to facebook.com/Berni Xiong and add me as a friend, and here's why. This week we're going to talk about a quote that I recently shared on my Facebook page, and it's a quote I'm going to share with you in just a second that I honestly believe really resonates with me and many of you, I'm sure, because of the real underlying message here. So anyway, I'm going to go ahead with that quote, but again, get on facebook.com and add me as a friend, and feel free to comment there as well, along with all the other comments you'll see. So the quote goes, "If you look deeply into the palm of your hand, you will see your parents and all generations of your ancestors. All of them are alive in this moment. Each is present in your body. You are the continuation of each of these people." And this quote was by world-renowned Zen monk Thich Nhat Hanh. He's amazing. And the reason this resonated with me, this quote, honestly, is because, when you think about it, I personally come from a multicultural background. I was born here in America, but my family came here during the Vietnam War and the secret war of Laos and fled their country, obviously to save their lives, with nothing but the clothes on their back, and obviously with my 4 other siblings. But when I think about this quote, I think about all of the challenges, the struggles, and the obstacles that every single one of my parents, my grandparents, my ancestors all had to face over time as they were going through life and trying to survive and trying to make ends meet and trying to live a good, happy, and healthy life, but being constantly met with challenge, with struggle, with obstacles. And I find that has kind of become the story, for the average Hmong American. I know specifically it has become, the story of my life as well. But when I think about the history of my ancestors and of my parents just, 30-some years ago when they fled their country, leaving everything behind, and coming into a new country knowing nothing, barely even understanding the language, not knowing anything about the culture, and having to raise, 5 children with nothing, again, but the clothes on their back and a little support from the sponsoring families, here in Wisconsin. It just really made me feel humbled. I think this is what has really helped me to stay grounded throughout the years. In the years when I was being sassy and silly and, really thinking that material goods is what was my validation of success at the time. Again, don't get me wrong, it's a phase we all have to go through, but I honestly believe that it was understanding all the hard work and the commitment and the dedication and loyalty that my family had to continue to keep providing, to continue to keep having very strong morals and values as they raised their family despite how hard things got. That was one of the biggest, virtues that I learned growing up within my own family, and then thinking about the history of my ancestors. So this quote really meant a lot to me for obvious reasons, because I don't believe I would be who I am today. I don't believe I would do the things that I do, and I don't believe I would be as passionate about making a difference if it wasn't for these good and bad experiences to have happened to me. And again, I raised this quote up as a topic of discussion because while there were some people commenting on how wonderful this quote was and how it resonated with them, at the same time I was also getting feedback that this was kind of more of a hurtful thought. A person had shared with me that if I see that my family and my ancestors were more of a disappointment and actually a negative impact on me, do I really want to be a continuation of them, as the quote says? And I thought that was a very, very honest and candid and valid question to ask. Because how then do we take this quote? How then do we find some, sanity in this world if we believe that we were kind of dealt, bad cards to begin with? And so as I started to think about that question a little bit more and reflect on what my answer might be for this person and what her answer might actually be for herself, I really, took a step back and realized, again, as I said, earlier on in this video, good and bad experiences both shaped me into being the person I am today. The lessons that I learned from both of those types of experiences helped to develop and shape my character and my behavior. And again, there were some things that helped me to stay grounded and humble, and some other experiences I did learn along the way, where I kind of strayed from that. And again, it's okay, because it's all part of life, is learning from our experiences, learning from our environment, learning from our role models. And that learning, again, there's something to be said about being able to learn from experiences. Again, regardless of whether it's good or bad, we are learning from it. So let's say we had an abusive parent at one point in our lives, right? We can choose to either A, accept that circumstance, that abusive, relationships exist, and that we tolerate and accept the abusive relationship, and therefore we accept owning that kind of behavior as well, and then we choose to be an abusive lover or parent or whatnot, right? We could go that way. The other route we could go as well is we could choose to say, I am not going to tolerate and accept that. It emotionally and physically bruised me to this day, and I will not subject anybody to that type of behavior. And in seeing that type of behavior used on me and others that I love and care about, I would choose not to have that kind of behavior. And so obviously there isn't a really black or white answer to this, but you can really take it any way. But the fact of the matter is this: you are in control of, and you are responsible for owning your attitude, your beliefs, and your behavior. Sure, they are shaped over time from your environment, from your family, from your loved one, friends, society, right? But at the end of the day, when we become adults, we own that. We own that because we have the capacity, or we should at least have the capacity to know right from wrong, good and bad, whether we want something or not, right? And so with that, it is we have all of the control and power in the world to make that change, regardless of the circumstances we were in before, regardless of what our ancestors and our family and our parents, left us with, to move forward in our own lives. And again, I will have to say that good or bad experiences, regardless, all experiences are necessary to really help shape and mold us into who we are today, and who we are going to become tomorrow and in the future. And with that, again, Facebook me, add me as a friend, facebook.com/Berni Xiong. Thank you for joining us this week. Please come back next week. Again, I invite your comments, feedback, and questions. They get featured, obviously, if it seems a relevant enough and timely topic to discuss. Look forward to seeing you again next week here on the video blog, and make it a great week. We'll talk to you soon.